Good evening. We have an update tonight on a story we first brought you in the fall. A Cambridge man who has autism facing an assault charge after running into a jogger. An encounter that he and his family say was an accident. That charge was recently withdrawn in court. CTV's Krista Simpson has been following new developments on this story for us and joins us now with the latest. Krista.
Well, Tony, the family is pleased that this charge is no longer before the courts, but they still wonder why it was laid in the first place.
The morning of September 18th, 2024, Soren Martin was walking to catch the bus that takes him to work. He says he accidentally ran into a jogger while on the sidewalk along Jameson Parkway. Waterloo Regional Police described the contact as a body check. Soren then ran to his bus stop and continued on his way to work, but a passerby who witnessed the incident followed the bus. Officers arrested Soren at the Cambridge Centre station a short time later and took him to hospital. He was ultimately charged with assault.
It was very, very difficult for us as a family.
Glaspa Martin says his son has autism, has never been violent, and was likely focused on getting to work that day. Glaspa was called to the hospital more than an hour after the incident and arrived to find Soren still in handcuffs. Glaspa says Soren was adamant all along what had happened was an accident. And Glaspa says one of the officers there said from the start the assault charge would likely be thrown out of court.
Why then charge him in the first place? It just did not make any sense.
And in court earlier this month, the charge was withdrawn, the Crown citing a lack of public interest. No further details were given.
I can't speak for the Crown, but certainly we went to them and provided Mr. Martin's version of what happened that day, and also some background documents which outlined, who Mr. Martin was and where he was from. And I think when the Crown had an opportunity to review all of that information, they were satisfied that he wasn't someone who needed to be prosecuted.
Malcolm McRae represented the family in this case and says it's unfortunate police decided to lay the charge even after spending time with Soren and speaking with his father.
It's not surprising that the police receive a call and are told that something violent occurred and that they'd make a decision to investigate and arrest the person they believe responsible for that violent act. What I think is too bad, though, is that once they received all of the other information, that they decided to pursue the charge.
In a statement, Waterloo Regional Police say, based on the evidence gathered through a thorough investigation, including statements obtained by the victim and an independent witness, our officers laid an appropriate charge of assault. Adding, once police have laid a criminal charge, it is then the role of the Crown Attorney to determine a resolution. Glaspa says the charge being withdrawn is a good outcome, but the whole ordeal has been difficult, noting they still had to go to court and Soren was fingerprinted.
There were sleepless nights, not to mention the trauma that Soren went through.
Glaspa says he still has questions about how the situation was handled by both police and the hospital. He says now that the charge has been withdrawn, he will be pursuing those answers.
We're not here to look for some kind of monetary reward. That's not the point. What we're looking for is that someone like Soren won't have to go through this kind of drama or ordeal again in his life.
Soren's father says he hasn't yet decided exactly what his next steps will be in the quest to get answers, but he does want accountability, and he says that's also why he's speaking up about what happened.